Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to connect the multidimensional cube and tabular cube from Python. So before we go into that, let me quickly recap on the last videos. So we talked about how to connect the multidimensional cube using the R programming that we covered in the this video, data science with the multidimensional cube, and also how to prepare the dynamic MDX query and DAX query using the R and using the linked server in the SQL. So both videos are very helpful and useful. I would request you go through those videos, and then let's coming to the details of our current topic, which is a Python. So we required some prerequisites before we start connecting the cubes. So the first one is the Python, that is a basic requirement, and then PyODBC, that is a library we require, and the second library is the Pandas or PySpark. So either one, it will be sufficient. But in our video, we are going to use the Pandas library. And last one is the matplotlib. That is purely optional. Just I'm trying to show some, visualization within the Python code once we download the data from the tabular cube and MLab cube. And the last one requirement is we need one dedicated SQL account to connect to the cube, because in RStudio, so the RStudio is able to authenticate our access using the Windows authentication, but Python is actually expect to pass the user ID and password, which is having the access to the cubes. Okay, so that's the requirements prerequisite. And also I want to like to share, if at all you get any this kind of error when you're trying to connect it to the cube from the Python. So that means you need to grant the access to this particular NT service MS SQL Server 2022. That is the NT service. We need to add it to the our cubes, because the SQL account that we are going to use will be part of this group, and if that group is not having the access to the cubes, then it not able to make the connection. So how to grant the access to this particular group? Then you can copy this particular NT service group and go to the properties of the analysis service. It can be like a MOLAP or tabular cube, and go to the security. Under the security, you can click on add and paste the that particular service NT service group and check names. Once it's a passed, then click OK, so that it will get added to the analysis service properties. Okay, so that means your SQL account, whatever the SQL account that we created, right? So that will get the access to OLAP cube. So the same thing we can do for the multidimensional cube. Under the security, you can add it. So once you're done with that, we are good. So whatever the SQL account that we're going to create, it will have the read access to the cube. Now, how to create the SQL account? So that quickly I will cover that topic also. So right click on, go to the database engine, and under the security tab and logins, and right click on new login, and then give your whatever the SQL account that you would like to use it, and click on the SQL Server authentication and provide the password and confirm the password. So probably you can uncheck these two options and then give a access. Okay, so probably you need to give a data reader access, but for testing purpose, I given sysadmin access. So based on your role and requirement, you can give a respective access. Then once you're done with access, then click OK. So that's it. Your SQL account is get created. In my scenario, already created the SQL account, which is SQL admin account, and everything is set it up. And here I given the access to the sysadmin access. And then user mapping is not required, because if the account is already be promoted as a SQL admin, right? So that's it. So we created the SQL admin account, and once we grant the access, click OK. So your account is get created. And how we are going to connect? So we're still going to use our linked server that we created in previous videos, right? So there are two linked servers created, one for the MOLAP cube, other one for the tabular cube. So these two accounts are already set it up. So I would request you go through this video where I explained how to create the tabular account and linked server in this video, the dynamic MDX and the DAX. This is the video I covered how to create the linked servers connecting to the MOLAB queue. So that's the requirement. Now let's go into the details how we are going to connect to the cubes from the Python. So let me bring Python code. So here I prepared the two Python scripts. One is for MDX, other one for the DAX. Okay, let's go into the details. The MDX one. First, what I'm doing here, I'm just loading my libraries. Here you can see I loaded the PyODBC. PyODBC library will allow you to make the connection between your Python and your cubes, and Pandas will help you to fetch the data from the cube and store the data in the data frame format. And then so here you have a set option. So there are like display option settings that I set it up for the pandas, and matplotlib that I used for the visualization. Okay, so now I just did some settings in terms of the visualization part, right? And now that's about the libraries. And now moving on to the next one. So here are my four variables. So first variable I given my server name, and the second variable I given the database name. I just given the POC is my database name. Third one is my username, which is the user I'm going to use to connect to the cube, SQL admin, and the password SQL connect and my. But careful, this password you need to use to you need to mask and pass it in the real time. Since I'm using the sample data, just I exposed here, but in the real time, please mask your password and pass it to the PyODBC. Okay, that's very important. So next one is the I just build the PyODBC connect, the connection string. This is how the connection string will parse, right? So PyODBC connect, and once this is the connection is prepared, we just build the connection and store that entire active connection to cursor. So I mean not cursor. So we store it in the connection. This is in fact not required. Just created for some other purpose. So now the connection is created here by using the PyODBC connect. Let me execute till here. So now it's connecting to the cube and it's executed. Okay, and then now let me go to the next statement where I just prepared my MDX query, which is embedded with my open query statement, and it's connected to the MOLAB cube. And here I just parse the everything. Oh, sorry, I just pressed wrong and execute. Now my query is parsed, and you can see on the right side it's parsed here. And then next one is I'm just going to store this data into my pandas data frame. Let me close this console. Okay, let me increase the screen size here. Now, so what I'm doing here, I just call this query and connection in my pandas data frame using the read SQL query, and then execute this statement. Pandas is just only warning, don't worry about it. So it's already fetched the data. Okay, it's suggesting to use the SQL Alchemy connection to connect the SQL database in terms of the performance wise. That's okay, you can ignore that warning message. Now here, so next statement, what I'm doing, I'm just converting the whatever the data that we downloaded from the cube, so converting to data frame by using this second statement. Now my data is converted to pandas data frame. Let me print some sample data here, and then you can see here the data that we fetched from the queue, and here is the data. And then you can also print what are the columns that we pulled it, the list of the columns that you can see here. These columns are lengthy columns that are coming from the cube. So what I did here, I just rename those columns just to have it like a simple way, and that is done. And again, if you want to see that, you can execute this statement so that you can see the new column list from the data frame. So these are the short names. Now moving on, so the RSM column, the reseller sales amount column, is actually down coming as a string column. So I converted that into float. Not only that, the other columns, they are coming like object columns, object data type. So I converted them into string. So just for the visualization purpose, and then execute here. So now the data frame is stored with the converted data types, and I can see again the list of the columns. Just only list I'm displaying. Now here what I'm doing, I'm just trying to bring the category and some of the reseller sales amount to the different data frame for my visualization. Let me execute that. So my DFT2 is ready now. Okay, so now I'm going to execute entire script since my DFT is ready, right? So now let me trigger entire script, and then we'll get the simple plot image. Here is the plot image that we bring. So you can see here, this is a simple graph where we fetch the reseller sales amount based on the categories. So not only this, you can, I just for the training video purpose, I created simple graph, but you can have a beautiful graphs using the matplotlib and other libraries, Seaborn. So those two are very helpful, and you can build a lot of wonderful visualization in the Python. So that's how we can bring the data from the multidimensional cube. Now moving on, so the next one is how to fetch the data from the tabular cube. So here everything is same, even the libraries in terms of the using the libraries and everything. Only the change is that we do it at query level, till query. So the query inside the query, we call it DAX query, right? So again, I'm going to use the open query here, but here we inside that we use the uh, DAX query. So as for training purpose, I use a simple evaluate customer dimension. From that customer dimension, what I'm trying to do based on the distance, commute distance, what is the yearly income? So based on the distance, what is the income of the each customer? I just grouped at that level, and then trying to display the simple plot graph. But again, here I didn't rename anything. I just pulled the data using the pandas data frame, and then so store the data in the data frame format into the data frame, and then we print the values. And let me execute here. Let me execute till here and to see the uh, results on the right side. Okay, and you can see here pandas only supports SQL Alchemy. Again, it's a warning. You can ignore the warning. Now you can see here we got the data from the tabular queue of the all the customer dimension. Now the next thing is I'm just grouping the commit distance and fetching the yearly income. So that's it. Now let me execute entire script and to get the visualized graph. All right, so it's executing script, and you can see here is the graph that we just executed. So the graph is telling that whoever having the less distance, they're having the more income. That's how the graph is telling the story. And this is a simple graph that I used in my demo purpose, but using the matplotlib and seaborn libraries. Those are the two libraries for the visualization in Python. Using them, so you can build a lot of beautiful visualization. But yeah, since I mentioned this only for demo purpose, how we connect and how we fetch the data, how we do the simple data analysis. So I created the simple graph here. I'm just closing this graph. So that's about how you fetch the data from the multidimensional cube and tabular cube using the Python. That's all about this video. I will post these scripts into my comment section by removing the unnecessary, there are some kind of extra statement that I wrote. So all those extra statements I will remove it, and I will post in my video comment section, so you can take these scripts and start testing in your local. That's about this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.